Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here, I'm Jade. And if you watched last week's video and you're like, you're dressed exactly the same, yes, I'm filming them on the same day. Because I've got a very busy Thanksgiving and everything coming up, I wanted to pre-record a little bit ahead. And also I just have the perfect thing to be recording right now. Because the other day this huge box from Book Outlet arrived, and so I thought it was the perfect time for a Book Outlet haul. Now if you watched last week's video, Sash, you can see my TBR behind me, it's a little crazy. So should I have bought more books? Probably not. However, I can never resist Book Outlet when they do their $5.99 fiction sale. If you don't know about it, if you live in Canada or the US, you've got to get on this. I will preface by saying the books aren't always in like pristine quality, but usually it's something very small, like a very small pen mark, which marks it as discontinued from the store that it originally came from. And honestly, I just think it's well worth it because books in the US cost a ridiculous amount of money. And I just highly advise doing this if you want to get some on a bit more of a budget. They tend to do these sales, I think, like twice a year. And there's always one around this time of year. And I'm like, I shouldn't do it right before Christmas. But I just can't resist because honestly, the prices are so good. Like $5.99 for a book in dollars, which for my UK viewers, that's $4.50, something like that. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's not like that amazing when the works do like 3 books for £7 or whatever they do these days. But trust me, in America, it's such a good price. Whether you're watching just to see what I'm adding to my TBR, or if you're interested in seeing what Book Outlet quality can be like, stick around and let's open this box. I limited myself to 10 books. I could have easily ordered a lot more. There's some books that just sounded really good that I didn't know lots about, but they just sounded really good. They look like really cool editions of the books, but I was like, I have to put a limit. Like, 10 is about what I'll read in a month. So it's like a month's worth to add to my TBR, which is already way too full. I was like, more than that is just ridiculous. I can't do it to myself. So yes, there are 10 books here. And let me share with you what I picked. I'm just going to pull them out of the box in the order they're packed because I haven't gone through it yet. So let's see. The first book that I purchased was Fredrik Backman's Us Against You. This is the second book in the Beartown series, so I can't talk too much about plot because it is a second in a series. I've heard amazing things about the Beartown series. I actually got Beartown in my last Book Outlet haul. I still haven't read it, which is terrible, but it kind of gives me more wintry vibes. So I think I've been saving it for sort of, December, January, something like that, maybe even February. But that kind of time frame just felt like I would vibe with the book then. And I just went ahead and got the second one because I loved Fredrik Backman's Anxious People when I read it this year. And I just feel like I'm going to really get into all his books. So I didn't see it as too much of a risk to just go ahead and buy the second book because I'm not going to find it this good a price anywhere else. This one basically looks brand new. It does have the discontinued pen mark right here, which if it's really going to bug you, then don't buy them. But honestly, I just think it's worth it to save all of that money just for the sake of a tiny pen mark. And I've had worse quality books arrive when I've ordered from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, etc. before. So honestly, I don't think it's bad. I gotta say, I do prefer when the pen mark's on the bottom. Sometimes they do it at the top, sometimes the side. I prefer it when it's at the bottom, but it's fine. And they don't all have it, but I would say most of them do. The next book I picked up was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've just heard amazing things about this book. I've heard amazing things about V.E. Schwab, and I've actually just started reading The Darker Shade of Magic, which was on my November TBR, picked by my TBR jar. So when I get to my wrap up for November, you will see me talk about my first V.E. Schwab book. So essentially, this book, I think, follows a woman called Addie LaRue, weirdly enough, and she makes a deal to live forever. However, part of that includes a curse, and everyone who meets her forgets her. And so I guess it's quite a kind of sad life to live, And so this is about her navigating that life. So I don't know much more than that. I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but it sounds like something I'm going to love. And this book is literally perfect condition. There are no pen marks or anything. If you can see that bit, it's just like a built-in bookmark. It's a really good quality version of the book. I don't know if it's like a special edition or anything. It doesn't have like sprayed edges, but I don't know enough about this book to know. But for $5.99, amazing. Like a solid hardback with no marks, brand new looking. Then the next book I picked up was Enchantra. I still haven't read Phantasma. That is still on my TBR behind me, but I feel like I'm going to want to continue with the series when I get round to it. It is a series that me and my friend probably want to read together, but we have others as well that we want to read together. So when we get round to it, I'm not sure because we just have so many and we like to, read other stuff in between or whatever. So we don't just go through everything we want to read together straight away. Currently, my friend and I are working our way through the Throne of Glass series. We've just been doing the tandem read. Then we've got the last book to go, and then it'll be time for a new one. But we have different series that we want to start, so who knows which one we're going to start with next. But for $5.99, I thought it was worth picking up the second book because, again, I'm not going to find it this cheap anywhere else. And this is another one, pristine condition, no pen marks or anything. It's literally perfect. It did get like a tiny little crease here. That happens on a lot of books when I get them shipped to me if they're paperback, so I don't think that is anything terrible, as much as, you know, it's nice to have them perfect looking. I think unless you go to the bookstore, you can't really guarantee that. But yeah, let me know if you've read the Phantasma Enchantra books. I know there's a third one coming out, and let me know how much you recommend them, because I am excited to read them whenever we get around to it. But I just feel like there's others that maybe we put higher on our priority, but maybe we should be prioritizing this more. Like, let us know. And then the next one is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. If you saw my October wrap up, I read the second book in this series during October. So this is the third and final one. I love the first book in the series. The second one I thought was decent. I didn't love it, but I kind of obviously want to continue with it. And I thought for $5.99, let's finish it. So I don't know when I'll get around to this. I feel like I might even hold on to it for next Halloween, because I feel like I've just read one of these books near Halloween every year. This one does have quite a big pen mark on the bottom, as you can probably see, but I like that it's at the bottom because you just never really see it or notice it. And like when you're reading it, you don't see it. You know, it's the best place if they're going to put one on there. As it is the third book in a series. Again, I can't really tell you much about it, but it's a good little cute series if you want something with, you know, cozy, witchy vibes for Halloween time. The next one I picked up is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and I'm sure a few of you are going to go, finally, she's picked up this book. I've had so many people on my Instagram saying, Jade, you need to read Rebecca Ross, and I've heard great things about Divine Rivals, and I think her latest release, I can't think what that's called right now, but I know a lot of people have been recommending it, so I'm finally going to be able to dive into the world of Rebecca Ross. As my TBR is huge, who knows when, but I will be able to, and this was $5.99. They did put the pen mark on the top, but not a bad price for a good hardback. I'll be honest, I don't really know the plot of this, and I don't want to give it away for myself too much, but I've gathered it's a bit of like an enemies to lovers fantasy, which sounds really nice. I think I'm going to love it. The next book I picked up is The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. I have been eyeing this book for a long time. I nearly ordered it last time in Book Outlet's sale. It's a really beautiful edition too, which I love. I don't see any pen marks or anything, so that's really exciting that I've just got this really nice sprayed edge edition that is just in pristine condition. This book really stood out to me because it kind of gives Mulan vibes, and I adored that movie growing up so much, you know, especially the original cartoon. But yeah, this just kind of gives Mulan vibes. It's slightly a different motivation. Basically, a woman disguises herself as a boy, enlists under her father's name into the army, but her motivation to do that is to escape an arranged marriage to a not very nice man. So yeah, for me, this plot just sounds really awesome, and I love the idea of it, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up at some point. So the next book I picked up was A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. As I've mentioned, I've been really enjoying his books. I gather this one is a sadder story, and sometimes I like to have a little cry to a book, so I kind of wanted to try this one because I keep seeing the movie everywhere, but I kind of want to read it before I ever give in to watching the movie, because I just kind of want the book to shock me, I think. I don't really want to know the story first. Also, please tell me, is it Ove or Ove? Ove just makes most sense to me. It just sounds more like a name, but it might be Ove. Let me know if you know. If you've seen the movie, you're probably going to know. But yeah, I don't know a lot about the plot again, but I think essentially Ove is a grumpy man, and it's sort of about his life and kind of making friendships, and it just sounds really sort of like heartwarming, even though I've heard it sad. I don't know much about it, but let me know if you've read this one and how much you recommend it, because yeah, I think I'm gonna like this one. And then the next book I bought was Emily Henry's Happy Place. This is probably one of the worst condition books I've had arrive from Book Outlet. There is a stain on the A. I don't know if you can see it very well in the camera. And then the whole dust cover is just dusty, like really dusty. Like it just looks grey in certain places. Like I don't think it shows as much on camera, but trust me, it's not good. It's very dirty. I'm definitely gonna like disinfect my hands after this. But there are no pen marks. I can remove the dust cover, give it a wipe down, whatever, and it's gonna be fine. It's $5.99 for the hardback. I'm still not going to complain over that, you know. I think the main thing to consider with Book Outlet is if you wanted to buy things as a gift, they might not be quite what you want. They're not going to be as pristine. But personally, if someone bought me one as a gift, I wouldn't be angry. Like, why not save money? You can buy me 2 books instead of one. And then, and it would still probably save you money. I've heard a lot of people say they really like Happy Place by Emily Henry, so I thought I would add another Emily Henry to my TBR. From what I gather, this follows 2 people that have broken up, but they're too sort of embarrassed to tell their friends, so they kind of go on acting as a couple and then fall in love with each other, I think. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Then the next one I bought is Educating Caroline by Meg Cabot. Meg Cabot, if you didn't know, wrote The Princess Diaries. I very much grew up with them as a series. I loved Meg Cabot books when I was young. But what I really loved is she wrote a couple of sort of historical fiction type books. I use historical fiction lightly because they're not serious historical fiction. They are sort of romance stories set years ago. Kind of Bridgerton vibes, I guess, but they were for a much younger audience. But they were some of the best books I read by her. I loved them back at the time. Victoria and the Rogue, that one specifically, I adored that book when I was young. And then I saw this one just randomly crop up somewhere. And then I saw this one crop up somewhere, and this has similar vibes. It's a very much similar genre book that she has released, a much more modern book, and also aimed at a slightly older audience. The other ones are very, very young YA. I think this might still class as YA, but it's thicker, it's way longer. So I can already tell just from font size and how thick it is that it's definitely aimed at an older audience. So I kind of bought this a little bit for the nostalgia, but I've generally always enjoyed Meg Cabot's books. I've read one of her adult novels. It wasn't my favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. So I have high hopes for this just because I think the story is my vibe. But essentially, this is a lady who is engaged. Her fiance has been found in the arms of another, and then she aims to make him fall in love with her for real. And then the 10th book, the final book of this little haul, is My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I believe this one only came out this year, so the fact that I have got the hardback already, it just has the discontinued dot on it, and that's it, is amazing. I think it was this year. If not, it was last year, but I'm pretty sure it was this year. At least I've seen a lot of people reading it this year. And I've just seen so many people talking about this book. I was like, I have to get it. Again, I haven't looked really deeply into the plot of this one, but I think it's about someone who comes across a painting and starts to sort of investigate the people in the painting. And it just sounds like a really cute, heartwarming story again. I think, I've only read Anxious People so far, but from Fredrik Backman's writing, he's really good at sort of bringing out those emotions. And Anxious People's kind of funny, but it has some really serious themes. And when you think about it, there is some real sadness there, but it's done in a really clever way. I've gathered most of his books are a little bit more on the sad side. I'm not sure about this one. It doesn't really sound like it is. Let me know if you've read it, if you think it's sad or happy or what kind of feeling it gives. But yeah, I just thought I had to pick this one up too. So yeah, that is all of the books that I got from my book outlet haul. As I said, check them out. This sale, from my knowledge, is until the 12th of December. So you have time if you want to catch this one. If not, I want to say last time it was around... I want to say summer, early summer, maybe late spring. And if you're not trying to get a haul from there, but you were just wanting to see what I added to my TBR, let me know if you've read any of these, what your high recommendations are, and I am going to add them onto my way too big TBR pile. But anyway, I will see you again real soon. Bye!